Imagine being able to rekindle your high school love. Will you go for it? Especially when your grandmothers take it upon themselves to matchmake you with any eligible bachelor or spinster. This is the dilemma of both Penelope and Jason. At the beginning of Just for the Summer, we see Penelope grading some school papers in a coffee shop. Not long after, Liam walks in and he sits with her. He tells her he has someone at a big book publishing company who is willing to look over her manuscript. Penelope can't believe her ears because they have been trying so hard to get her book to publish, but all efforts have proven to be futile. Liam asks her if she's willing to be flexible and will be available for revisions if changes are required of her. She agrees to that, even though she will be busy as her grandmother's 75th birthday is coming up. She will be involved in some family obligations as well. She assures him that she will do all that is necessary for her. In the next scene, Penelope drives happily to her grandmother Dot's house. Dot is happy to see her. As Dot proceeds to get some refreshments for Penelope, she secretly calls the next-door grandma Josie and speaks to her in a coded language, telling her that the eagle has landed. Josie happily acknowledges the news and hangs up the phone. Josie calls out to her grandson Jason. When he appears, she tells him to go out and help the girl struggling in the driveway with her bags, and he goes ahead. When he gets to the car, he offers to help the lady only to drop her clothes accidentally. When she turns, he discovers it is Penelope and things get awkward. They are shocked to see each other. They have known each other for a long time and used to be a thing of the past. As they are talking, Dot comes outside and jumps into the conversation. She commends Jason for coming to help Penelope and even says they are drawn to each other like magnets. Then she invites him in for a meal. As she serves them food, she helps them to catch up. She tells Jason that Penelope got promoted as the department head in her middle school, and Josie told her earlier that Jason is into banking. The two of them nod in affirmation and Jason says he is an investment banker. Dot further reminds them how they were completely inseparable. She also brings up a quote, "The only thing more powerful than time is love." Penelope and Jason start catching on to the fact that she has something up her sleeves, and it makes them both feel uneasy. Then Dot suggests that they go dancing since Penelope's cousin says she is going to practice her dance moves for her birthday. Jason politely declines, saying he has other plans, and he thanks her for the meal as he leaves. As Penelope unpacks in the room, Dot comes and starts to talk about how nice it must be for her to see Jason again. Penelope knows where she's going with this, so she tells her that she's there to see her and not Jason. Then she starts to ask her about the party preparations, to shift her focus away from Jason and herself. She tells her of the progress of the preparations and tells her that she's just worried about her mother and hopes she makes it soon. Later, she tells Penelope that she forgot to get the bread from the bakery, and Penelope offers to help her pick it up. Dot gives her the description of a particular bakery that she will go to and walks away happily. Meanwhile, at Josie's house, Josie is reminding Jason of how he used to be so in love with Penelope. Lily, Jason's cousin, listens and smiles as her grandma speaks. Josie tells Lily how Jason was completely smitten by Penelope, all in a bid to get Jason to stir up those memories in his heart. She then asks Jason and Lily to help her get a copy of a magazine from a specific bookstore. Jason reminds her that a copy was delivered the day before, but she says she gave it to Dot and she needs another one. Still thinking of how to hook him up with the girl, she tells him she has another optometrist, but Jason stylishly declines while telling her that she and Lily are the only ladies he needs in his life. As Jason and Lily go to the bookstore, Josie laughs happily. Her plan is about to play out. Penelope goes to the bakery and exchanges pleasantries with the owner, George. He is happy to see her and even asks her if she has met his grandson, David, who has moved back to the town. Another effort to matchmake her and Penelope. Trying to get away, she tells him she would have loved to meet him, but she needs to get somewhere. George tries so hard to convince her and tells her that David is recently single and handsome. He calls her out and introduces them. David is in a band, but to Penelope's amazement, he is aware that she is a teacher. She asks for the bread and George sends his regards to Dot. As Penelope heads out, she runs into Jason and Lily. She compliments Lily on how grown she is. Lily then tells Penelope that Jason told Josie about how special she is. Jason is surprised to hear this because he didn't say that. Lily is also involved in the grandma's matchmaking efforts. As they talk, Penelope's phone rings and sees that it's from Liam. She quickly runs out right in the middle of their conversation and receives the call outside the bakery. Liam informs her that the publishing company is interested in having a publishing deal with her on the condition of getting lots of story revisions and the final draft at the month's end. Penelope agrees to that and jumps in excitement. Jason looks at her from the inside of the bakery and Lily catches him doing that, asking things awkward for him. Outside the house, Jason sits reminiscing on how he used to love sailboats but never had the chance to pursue that dream. Josie tells him he can still pursue the dream because she believes it is not too late. And she also talks about how being around family is so great for everyone, just like how Lily gets to come around now. And then. But Jason says it's a strategy for her parents to get divorced, just like he did. Josie then says maybe it's time for him to meet someone special, but Jason pleads for her to stop trying to set him up with different girls. Josie tells him about their old sailboat and that he can fix it up if he wishes while he's still there. That way, he will get to have a feel of his old passion again. Meanwhile, Penelope is back from the bakery and Dot immediately asks if she met George's grandson David. Dot is trying so hard to set her up with any available bachelor in town. She even suggests that he can be her date for the birthday party, to which Penelope objects. Seeing that her effort is not working with David, Dot suggests another person known as Brian, and he's coming over for dinner. Soon, Annabeth, Penelope's cousin, arrives and they hug each other happily. She introduces her boyfriend Chad, who tells her that his dentist friend Brian is on his way. The next matchmaking effort by Grandma Dot is in motion and she is glad about it. Later on, when they are alone, Annabeth tells Penelope that Dot made them bring Brian. Although, she still can't believe Dot wants her and Jason to get back together. They were high school lovers and it's been so long. Then Annabeth seizes the opportunity to ask why they broke up, and Penelope explains that they were so focused on their future then, and they were not sure about their love. To her, that boat has sailed and she can't imagine herself dating her old high school lover again. It has to be someone new. The next morning, as Penelope goes downstairs to answer Dot's call, she meets Jason with Dot in the kitchen. Dot tells her that the sink is clogged and Jason is helping her fix it, so she wants Penelope to stay with him as she is heading out. Dot ignores Penelope's statement about her work and leaves the two of them. But it seems Dot purposely broke the sink, so she can leave both of them alone to talk and spark up some emotions. Well, they are both aware of this. Jason is aware of the awkwardness around them and the tension whenever they are together. This comes from their history and he apologizes for it. But Penelope believes they should bother to be able to visit their grandmothers whenever they wish. Seeing he didn't need her help in fixing the sink, Penelope leaves him to it and goes to work. Meanwhile, the two grandmas are peeping into the kitchen from the yard. They see that Jason is alone and they suggest that a better idea is needed next time. Yet again, Dot strikes with another matchmaking effort. This time she brings her pharmacist Greg and he comes bearing gifts. He wrote her a poem because Dot told him she's an English teacher and reads it out to her aloud. After listening to his rather short poem, Penelope quickly excuses herself as fast as she can. Penelope is waiting on her order at the coffee shop when Jason walks in to get a cup of coffee. They are surprised to see each other and Jason even makes a joke about her following him. But she accuses him of following her because of her grandmother's matchmaking efforts, and she lets him know he is the last person she will agree to date. However, both of them are at the coffee shop because they are avoiding the relentless effort of their grandmothers in matchmaking them. Penelope gets her order and goes ahead to sit alone and away from Jason. Jason sights Dot and Greg approaching the coffee shop in search of Penelope, and swings into action to save Penelope. He quickly sits across from her and initiates a rather loud fake conversation. Penelope is confused, but he tells her to play along unless she wants to hear more of Greg's poetry. She sees her grandmother and Greg and joins Jason's fake conversation. Seeing that Penelope is with Jason, Dot takes Greg away and tells him he will need to work harder to win her granddaughter's heart. As they walk away, Jason and Penelope can't believe their pretend date works. It helped them to get one grandma off their back, and this gives Jason an idea. He tells Penelope that if they want to be free from the never-ending matchmaking efforts of their grandmothers, they will have to pretend they are dating. Penelope is skeptical about the plan because of their history, and she asks him what he stands to gain from the suggestion. Jason tells her that he just got out of a very serious relationship, and although he appreciates his grandmother's constant setups, he is not ready for any commitment now. So, going along with the plan will buy him breathing room. Penelope also realizes that she also needs time to focus on the book she wants to publish. She tells Jason to keep it a secret, and he promises, though he doesn't see why that should be a secret. But she insists and they agree to do it that way. They will now officially pretend to be dating just for the summer. The next time they have a family gathering, Jason and Penelope walk in holding hands. Everyone is shocked at how fast they have started dating. When asked, they keep explaining a cooked-up story of how their love started. Jason tells them that Penelope loves sailing just like him. Grandma Dot asks them to come with her and Annabeth to meet with her birthday party caterer, and Penelope immediately says they have ballroom dancing. Later that night, they talk about the different choices of activities they told their grandmothers they will get involved with. Jason tells her that he will fix the boat and she can work on her book on the boat. Just as they shake hands on finalizing their plans, the grandmothers laugh and wave at them at a distance, thinking of how their plans have worked. Immediately they hug, to keep the whole fake dating real. Next scene, Penelope and Dot work on a puzzle. Dot then tells Penelope that many people are likely to come to the party, so it will be a full house. This gets Penelope thinking about if she will ever get the space to carry out her work without interference. Penelope meets with Jason on the dock to begin their plan after informing Dot that they are going dancing in the ballroom. Jason reminds her of how they used to stay in the lake till their fingers wrinkle. Their teenage love was filled with several fun memories. He asks her about her book immediately since she mentioned that she wants to keep it a secret earlier. However, she tells him little about her book's plot. He asks her why she did not want her family to know, and she says it's because she wants to dedicate it to her grandmother. If the deal is successful. After all, she is her biggest supporter. But to Jason, regardless of the success of the deal, she should tell her grandmother. He advises her not to give up on her dreams even if the publishers disappoint her, then goes back to reminiscing about how he misses summer in their town before his parents divorced. Life changed for him after that. He tells her about the choices he had to make after his parents' separation, such as quitting the job he has because he worked there to please them. He speaks with the pain of the past in his eyes. Later, tells Penelope how proud she is of her. She asks about their date and reminds her of how when she and Jason were little, he told her the groom's marital vows as well. Penelope laughs and reminds that they were little then. So tells her time is nothing and what is meant to be will eventually be. That night, Jason throws a stone at Penelope's window and tells her to come to see something urgently. He takes her to the beach to see the full moon with a cozy place set up. He asks her to tell him about the book she's writing, and she tells him as they watch the full moon. The story seems similar to her story and Jason's, and she tells it from her perspective as the one abandoned. But Jason lets her realize that the boy in the story may also have a lot going on for him that she is not aware of. She sees reason in his ideas and thanks him before going back home. Jason helps Grandma Josie bake, and she applauds his artistic side. Lily informs them that her mom called and says she will be there for Grandma Dot's birthday party. Lily is impressed with the art her uncle is making from the dough, and she questions he didn't pursue his passion as a career, but he tells her he did that to please his parents. While playing with Lily, Jason runs after her till they get to the lake. Meanwhile, Penelope looks at them from outside her grandmother's place where she is working on her laptop. Dot walks to her telling her she sees no reason for her to be working on vacation, but quickly closes her laptop. They talk about how her grandparents met and it was love at first sight for her grandfather, but not for Dot. After seeing how much she misses her late grandfather, Penelope says she may be the one to need a date, and she suggests George from the bakery shop. Dot does not want to hear that, so she goes away from the conversation. As Penelope works on the laptop, Jason walks up behind her, startling her. He brings her the pie he baked earlier and tells her the grandmothers told him to bring it. So, they will pretend as he sits with them since Dot is watching. Penelope takes a break after work and they start to eat the pie. She tells him how the book may never be done because the editors want other revisions and she has run out of ideas. Jason suggests they go boating to help her have her ideas flowing again. When they get to the middle of the river, they stop there. She talks about the story setting and Jason reminds her of their childhood memories and she gets an idea from it. When they get on land, Dot meets them and asks that Jason come help her with the party plan. As she and Jason work, Dot quietly tells him that Penelope likes daisies and ice cream. Meanwhile, Annabeth and Penelope are working separately. Annabeth tells her that she doesn't understand why Jason chooses to be an investment banker when art is his passion. Then she accuses Penelope of not caring to know Jason's interests. To her, people that are dating should know each other to a certain extent. But Penelope argues that they are mostly busy with other things. She can't let her know that this is just a pretend relationship and nothing more. Then Annabeth tells her she knows they are fooling everyone. No one else suspects them though. She promises to keep it a secret and promises neither she nor Jason will get hurt because of their history. She suggests they make peace about their past and get to know each other more. On the boat, Penelope informs Jason that Annabeth is aware of their plan and he says they will proceed to level 2 dating then. Penelope is confused and he explains that it means they get closer than ever. She then tells him they should know more details about each other. They start getting to know each other and she advises him to pursue his dream of art. Jason tells her shocking news. He was engaged to a girl before, but it didn't work out. Unfortunately, she only fell in love with the comfort that comes from his job and not him. Things didn't work out because of this. Penelope tells him it's all for a reason. Later, Jason visits Penelope at home and meets her working on her laptop. When Dot asks her to help her with the decorations, Jason cuts in that they already have plans to work on the boat, and off they go. At the boat, Jason has trouble while fixing it and Penelope suggests he takes a break to get the ideas flowing again. Then she playfully pushes him into the lake and he takes her along with him. They play around in the water like actual lovebirds and laugh while enjoying the fun. Meanwhile, the grandmothers are peeping at them, happy that their plan is working fine. Dot then says they really think they're fooling them with their plan of pretending to date, but the grandmothers know all along. Now, it is apparent that they pushed them to this point so they can develop actual feelings for themselves once again. After their time on the lake, they go to Jason's place and Penelope sees all his designs. She loves them and advises him to submit them somewhere, but he says he is not as brave as she is. Jason has always influenced her and she recounts the many instances and he says the same goes for him. Jason tells her how he tries to find her to explain and apologize to her after high school. His parents' separation got to him and he wasn't thinking straight. He did eventually come back, but she was with another guy. She accuses him of not talking to her, that it would have made a difference then. He sits with Lily by the lake and she sees that he has lots of picture sketches drawn, most especially that of Penelope, but he makes her promise to keep it a secret. Penelope meets Jason at the diner and he tells her he arranged it this way so the grandmothers can think they are on an actual date, but they will be able to get work done without interruption. He already ordered her favorite and she is surprised he still remembers. She sits with him and they face their work, but she stares lovingly at him for a moment. Later that evening, still at the diner, Penelope tells Jason that she is done with all the revisions and has sent it. She awaits the final news from the publishing company, which will determine if she has the perfect birthday gift for Grandma. He picks her up and happily twirls her around. They have a moment of attraction right there and they awkwardly go back to sit. Penelope and Annabeth go shopping. Annabeth suggests Penelope write something for Dot instead of getting her beach necklaces. She asks about her deal with Jason and she tries changing the subject. Since she is stalling, Annabeth says it's okay if she has developed feelings for him and that she should talk to him about it. Penelope thinks they want different things and she is scared that he will disappear again like other times. Annabeth believes he keeps coming back to her because they belong to each other and bring out the best in each other. Jason tells Dot he and Penelope have a surprise for her. It turns out to be a zombie movie which they see later that night with others. When the scary scenes come up, Penelope holds Jason's hand tightly. When he excuses himself, Annabeth tells her to tell him of her feelings. When he comes back and she tries telling him, his grandma calls him and that distracts them and she could not tell him there. The next day, Jason also finishes the work on his sailboat. They hug each other happily. Penelope tells him she wishes she can stay there forever. He also tells her he has submitted his boat designs and she celebrated him. She appreciates his help and he also appreciates her help for pushing him and sticking by him. He thanks her for bringing his fun side out again after his broken engagement. He asks her about what she wanted to tell him and she says it's nothing. At Grandma Josie's house, she advises him to take the relationship with Penelope to the next level. But he is scared of how it will turn out because of his broken engagement with his ex and feels they are better off as friends. Josie tells him that this is different. He believes taking things further will complicate things with Penelope like before. It's the party day and Penelope is all dressed up. She checks her laptop, hoping for good news from the publishing company, but there's no news yet. Annabeth comes to inform her that the party is starting and they go outside to join the others. Penelope's mom arrives and they hug. She also asks about the rumors of her dating, but she says it's only a rumor. As she starts to find Jason, Liam comes and she is surprised to see him in person. Then he tells her the news, she got the contract with the publishing company. She hugs him happily. Jason walks in at that moment and sees her hugging Liam. She sees him and wants to tell him the good news, but he walks out even as he calls after him. Penelope is confused at Jason's attitude. Josie goes after Jason. Dot walks to Penelope and she is also confused about what happened. Penelope tells Dot she has to tell her something. Meanwhile, Jason tells his grandma that he loves Penelope. She says she is aware and he needs to go back and tell her unless he wants to lose the relationship. Then he tells his grandma that there is something she should know about that. At the party, Penelope tells Dot of their plan. Dot tells her it was all part of her and Josie's idea. Everything that has happened so far, including the other dates, is part of their plan to give them a nudge that will bring them closer. Just then Annabeth, Penelope's mom, and Josie meet them there. Penelope tells them that although they have been pretending to be dating, she has fallen in love with Jason, but he is not in love with her. She is advised to give him another chance and she says she has. Just then Jason comes from behind and asks that she give him another chance. Penelope can't believe her ears. He tells her that his feelings for her have never been a pretense. They have always been real, ever since they were young. He says he will stay if she wants him, and they kiss. Then Penelope tells them she has one more surprise. She introduces Liam and announces that she wrote a book dedicated to her grandmother, and it is going to be published. They celebrate happily. Later on, the grandmothers celebrate their efforts as they look at the lovebirds on the dance floor. In the final shot, Penelope and Jason kiss as they sway to the sound of the music.